every once in a while, I mean, a game gets like a whale, and like I told you about Mike Cat from Epic talking about the highest microtransaction amount he's seen spend on 1 week was like 300,000. Every game is
Hmm.
not gonna get that,
Exactly.
and the issue is they need to stop making these humongous games and padding them with bullshit that also runs up the production costs.
Exactly.
I don't know. I
So
don't.
I just caught a little doodad here. I
Mm-hmm.
had the audio muted for the first whatever. I'll figure that out later. That's fine.
What muted? What audio?
So the stream was muted for the first like 20
Lord.
something minutes. Wonderful. I'll use our audio. I'll figure that out. It's okay.
Somebody
Anyways,
watching us? Was our loyal
no.
fans watching us?
They should have been.
Just dandy.
All right. Hey, you subscriber. Thanks for sticking with us. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. Um, if you were listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple, Apple Podcast, whatever Apple thing you're using. Leave us a review there. If you're using something else that's not Apple, hey, do the same thing. Leave us a review there. Basically, we want you to leave us a review. We appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Number 6. This is a big old Elden Ring update. So first up, the Elden Ring DLC Shadow of the Ur Tree has sold a total of 5 million, actually more than 5 million copies.
That is bonkers.
That is that is so insane. That is so insane. Like that game is the DLC for that game is doing better than
Hmm.
a lot of other games. Like
Single player
that's
games.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's what
again, like
happens when you put quality and stuff.
that's true. That's true. And then another thing to be said to that is that oh, wait, I done blanked out on what I was going to say. Anyways, here's a quote. Where FromSoft is right now in terms of scale, I would say Elden Ring is really the limit. Miyazaki told the site. So this is a quote taken from I believe PC Gamer. So I just grabbed it here because it's kind of the most important thing. He goes
Hmm.
on to say, "We've tapped every resource and talent that we have access to. Scaling it even bigger, I'd have my concerns." So essentially, people were talking about like, Elden Ring is huge. Is the next game going to be as big as Elden Ring? And the answer to this is probably not. No. And I think that makes sense in terms of this game. They didn't need to make this game as big as they did.
They put their foot in it,
They absolutely did. Like,
and everything from this point on is going to be compared to either this Elden Ring or Bloodborne or
yeah,
whatever was the best
yeah,
Souls in your opinion.
yeah. Like, I think the next game they make will definitely not be an open world game
Oh
because
hell no.
it will be compared to this. Yeah,
Hmm.
but like, it is a thing of this is the kind of game that Miyazaki can just retire to because like this is almost the perfect Souls game for those people. Although I think there's another article in terms of him saying that like Elden Ring isn't perfect and he wants to make a game that he considers to be better. So that's the whole thing. But yeah,
Hmm.
the next story is Elden Ring's hero. Let me solo her says Shadow of the Earth Tree isn't too hard.
Y'all just some
Says
bitch.
says the guy that soloed Millennia, the hardest boss in Elden Ring, with a pot on his head with no armor on. But he goes on to say, many people are just too harsh and should use everything to their disposal. This comes to us from Games Radar by way of Austin Wood. So he's absolutely right. Like there's this whole thing about playing Elden Ring where there's a quote unquote right way to play Elden Ring and there's a quote unquote wrong way to play Elden Ring. And it is purely based off of some hyper masculinity bullshit. And it's like, look, man, if you want to use a mimic tier, like I did, use a mimic tier. It is okay. If you want to make a magic build, use magic. You don't have to just run into every fight with the one
Well,
great sword and just like
The issue with the
suffer.
Shadow of the Erdtree is there kinda is a right way to play it because you need those whatever the hell those things are,
Shadow, it's actually pronounced shadow, but it's like a weird spelling of it because
sure.
of yeah.
You need certain things to level up certain aspects of your character because you can't raise your character's aspects and traits the normal way for Shadow of the
Yeah.
Erdtree. They took an
No,
entirely different approach.
yeah, but and that's the thing though, is that people are ignoring that system thinking they can just willpower the way through the game. And like that is leading to like the disgruntledness of this game being quote unquote too hard for a lot of people because a lot of people are coming back at those people and saying like, well, if you have a shadow tree level of like 9 or 10 or whatever,
Mhm.
like it actually scales pretty evenly to like where you should be fighting stuff in the game.
Yeah.
So it works out where if you are just doing that stuff, then you'd be fine. But I think another issue to this whole thing is that this is Elden Ring, the game that doesn't hold your hand. So if you are getting these things and there's no real description in game and you're not like going to Reddit, you're not going online and like really looking at this stuff, you could be in a position where you think you are strong enough to fight this thing and it pieces you up and you're just like, oh, this is insane. I've spent over 300 hours in Elden Ring. How am I being bested by this thing with two swords? I don't understand.
Mm. You
So,
just need 3 swords.
it, yes, that's why you have a mouth.
Pause. It's crazy.
And I'm supposed to be on a One Piece reference.
It was,
Now I'm
but
doing myself. All right. The next thing in this whole giant update of Elden Ring is that Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree actually gets its first patch. And this comes to us from Ryan Dinsdale from IGN. This patch actually reduces the actually no, it improves the attack and damage negation curve for these shadow tree blessing that you have. So Elden Ring actually did something that they I think don't normally do in that they heard people say it, oh man, this game is crazy hard. And they're like, all right, we're gonna give you a little bit of a leg up. And all that the damage negation curve thing does is before the higher you get, the more damage negation happens with this
mhm.
new leveling system. They just kind of evened it out a bit so you get like more of that negation in the earlier levels, like the earlier first half of your levels or whatever. So it's kind of a we're just helping you out right now, but like after you reach that midpoint, then it's like good luck again.
Mm.
So yeah. And then there's also the patch also addresses a PC bug where ray tracing settings are automatically enabled if players have previously loaded saved data from previous game versions. So you're welcome.
Sure.
So that's pretty much it for the Elden Ring thing. Yeah, man, that game is still hitting heavy. I wonder what it's going to be like at the end of the year because we are going to get another slate of like pretty strong games coming out. Of course, they're not going to do as well as Elden Ring because Elden Ring is Elden Ring. But yeah, number 7. Helldivers 2 director stands by FromSoft in the difficulty discourse as Hideki Hidek no
There you
Hidetaka
go.
Miyazaki doubles down on making hard games, always cater to a select audience. This comes to us from Games Radar by way of no, 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 it's not that. That's not. It's over here. It's definitely right there. Yes, it is. By way of Austin Wood. So Arrowhead has been saying it for years. A game for everyone is a game for no one. I think Sean has said that as well. If I'm not mistaken. So essentially the CEO I guess the old CEO of
Hmm.
Helldivers came out to basically say the same thing that, Miyazaki is saying in terms of it. Okay, so the actual quote from Miyazaki is that if we really wanted the whole world to play Elden Ring, we could just crank the difficulty down. And essentially, by doing that, that would just ruin the actual experience of Elden Ring, where you are supposed to struggle. You're supposed to, have to fight these bosses multiple times to achieve that level of success or whatever. Which, yeah, yeah, to a point. Like if you're, it's one thing I think to spend. I'm spending 2 hours on a boss. It's
Yeah.
another thing where I think like Kai Cenat was like spending like over 50 hours or some craziness on a boss or whatever. And it's like that's kind of crazy.
I mean, he
What,
had
what
to learn how to play because I don't know how many Souls games he played before Elden Ring.
Yeah, I would guess to say this is probably his first one. But yeah, it's just a thing of like, you know, and what they're saying is true in that if you try to make a game for everyone, most likely no one's gonna like it because it's gonna be too buttered toast,
That
if that
was the
makes sense.
case for one of my favorite series, Yakuza. Sega said this
Mhm.
won't appeal to women and children. And RGG stuck with their guns anyway, and look where they are now. So I mean,
That's true. That is true. So
sorry.
yeah, there's not too much to be said about this.
Catering to everyone doesn't win awards.
Yeah. But that's also true as well. Yeah. Okay, so here's actually a quote from this article that I did want to touch on. Some people think from software design hard bosses for difficulty sake reasons. It's from this that's from YouTuber Rubicon.
Mhm.
Uh they are wrong. The game is challenging because they want you to feel this, but you can't feel this without being challenged. This is this moment sums up the entire design philosophy of every Soulsborne game. And that kind of reiterates the thing that I was saying in terms of like they want you to feel this challenge. They want it to be challenging. So they are making these bosses hard on purpose for you
Yeah.
to have that challenge.
This
And
is more of like a every game doesn't need to be a everyone wins a trophy type game. Like
that's true.
it's all right.
That's true. And the my little my little comment in our show notes, I put skill-based matchmaking because for some reason, like that whole thing kind of pinged in my head is like, yeah, I
Um,
mean, that's
People aren't
kind
as
of
good as they think they are in games.
yeah, that's kind of the same thing where it's just like you you're like, for example, Call of Duty is
Mhm.
a competitive first-person shooter, and the way that the matchmaking sort of works or whatever is that like if you are good, you are being put with other good people. And it's just like that is almost the same level of difficulty as a freaking Soulsborne game where it's just like you sit there and you fight this one guy and it's like fine, and then you get another match
Mm.
and you're just getting ran through. And you're just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Number 8. After initial success, Helldivers 2 has lost 90% of its players with no signs of recovery. This comes to us from Forbes by way of Paul Tassi. So this is from the article. There is always some annoyance when player count declines are brought up in the game space, but in this case, it's fairly a significant story. We're not talking about Starfield's losing 90% of its players since launch as a single player game. Rather, this is Helldivers 2, which was meant to be Sony's big proof of concept. It can be a big impact in the live space. But a few months after launch, the game has been extremely steep, has seen extremely steep declines, and despite new additions in Galactic War plot return, nothing is reversing course. So I put this on our show notes because I think this is a very interesting point being made by Paul Tassi,
Mhm.
who is a dedicated Destiny fan. And Destiny had this same kind of arc where after people completed the story stuff of Destiny and did that first raid, there was a big drop off because
Some
people were
people want
like,
to
all right,
just see the story.
Yeah, yeah, people wanted to do a story, they did the content, and, like, they ran through the actual content, and there was no content being provided to them, so they just played other games. And it's one of the things where, as a person who played Fault or Helldivers 2 and think it's a great game, and it's a game that I could easily return to, whenever, I just stopped playing because I was playing other games. And it's just
Yeah.
like, that's sort of the track of live service games where it's a service
Something
that you.
bigger or free will come out, and let me check this out with my friends.
Yeah, and then if you feel the need to jump back, you'll jump back to it. Like, the outliers to this are the Call of Duties, are the Fortnites, where people are just sticking with it versus jumping to other
Mhm.
games. But the the general trend of these games is people lose interest for a bit, and then, at this point, I would imagine Arrowhead should be working on something of an expansion, like bigger content to really get people to
Yeah.
come back in. So, and like that's what Destiny did with the Taken King. Like, when they dropped that, they got a bunch of people in, and it was just like it did well for them. So it's one of the things where it's like, okay, we'll see what happens either by the end of this year for Arrowhead, or maybe,
Yeah.
I think early next year would probably be too late for them. So probably by the end of this year, I would think they'd have a bigger expansion, but we'll see. So yeah, number 9. Multiple Assassin's Creed remakes are in the works, according to Ubisoft CEO. There are worlds in some of our older Assassin's Creed games that are still extremely rich. This comes to us from PC Gamer by way of Andy Chalk. So, Ubisoft has famously struggled with remakes. The Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, which no longer officially dubbed a remake, has been floating in limbo for 4 years and still doesn't seem to be anywhere near completion. The Splinter Cell remake, meanwhile, has seen even less daylight. It was announced in 2021, and well, that's it. Hopes that an update of some sort will be made during Ubisoft Forward Showcase earlier this month were dashed with absolutely no mention of it was made. Still, it seems like Ubisoft isn't giving up on going back in its deep well of older games. Players can still be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we've created in the past and modernize them. Guillemot said that when asked about the future of the Assassin's Creed series in a promotional Ubisoft interview, there are worlds in some of our old Assassin's Creed games that are still extremely rich. So
Yeah.
essentially, they're going to be remaking the old Assassin's Creed
I need
games.
to remake Black Flag so Marcus could play it.
One day, one day.
We gonna hold him down. We
So
gonna play
yeah,
Black
this is a real, like, interesting thing to. I don't know if this is, like, not necessarily throwing in the towel for Assassin's Creed, but we all know that there's too much Assassin's Creed,
Flag.
right? Like, if you really think about it, the amount of Assassin's Creed games that we have from start to right now literally is like, it's not the same amount of, like, Final Fantasy games, but
Mhm.
it's pretty close in that, like, if you were to line it up and just, like, put, like, 3 years in between each of them, like, that should be it for the entire, like, series of Assassin's Creed. They should jump to a different game.
Mm,
So, like, for them to be like, "All right, well, we're gonna start remastering our old or remake or no, remaking our old games," it's just like, okay, I don't it's so confusing. It is so because, like, they also have, like, a bunch of new
I'm
Assassin's
about to
Creed
tell you how
coming
many
out.
they got. I
Yeah,
just
and
seen
then
I
they
just
also
seen
supposed to have this Assassin's Creed Infinity thing, which is supposed to be a launcher of some sort. So it's just,
what we
it's,
got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
ugh,
We got
more
Assassin's
power to them.
Creed, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, 4, which is Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage. We got Shadows coming out. Then you got the spin-offs, Altair's Chronicles, Bloodlines, Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery, Legacy, Multiplayer Rearmed, Recollection, Liberation, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, China, India, Russia. There's
Oh
a
my
lot of damn
gosh.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh my gosh.
Are
Those are
are
the
they
guys.
just gonna be the Assassin's Creed studio now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, they're supposed to be remaking the Splinter Cell game. We don't know where that is. Like Prince of Persia. I mean, we got the two games this year, which is great, but like, yeah, man,
Because Watch Dogs is
that's
pretty much
crazy.
done.
Yeah.
Rabbids, I ain't heard nothing from them. Raymond is probably done. Oh, what's Siege? What the hell is that? Rainbow Six Siege?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
they're just gonna be the Assassin's Creed and Far Cry studio and Just Dance and Rainbow Six Siege, and that's
sir,
it. Yeah.
sir, you are forgetting their prize pony in X Defiant.
No, I didn't.
Actually, speaking of X Defiant,
I don't want to speak of it.
Isgamon has well, they confirmed uh they've passed 11 million players since launch in their game.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about concurrent players. So
Allegedly, it's around 1 million. Allegedly, daily.
okay, that's interesting. More power to them if that's the case. That I am happy that those a million people are finding joy in X Defiant. Number 10. Less than a month after joining work on the Sands of Times remake, Ubisoft Toronto lays off 33 employees to ensure it can deliver on its ambitious roadmap. Comes
How
to us
that
from
work?
PC Gamer. Yeah, I,
How do you
I
reduce
don't
the
know.
workforce to make sure you hit
No
This
idea.
is why I'm not a CEO.
Right? So this goes to us from Andy Chalk. Um, Yeah, man. So this is just a quote from them. Ubisoft Toronto has decided to conduct a targeted alignment to ensure it can deliver on its ambitious roadmap. A company representative said in a statement provided to PC Gamer. Unfortunately, this will impact the roles of 33 team members who will be leaving Ubisoft. We are committed to providing comprehensive support to them, including severance and career assistance to help them through this transition. So yeah, it's always a weird thing where they have to just do some word salad to hide the fact that they are laying off 33 people, but they also
Mhm.
have to reassure the stakeholders and stuff that like the game is going to be fine, guys. Don't have to panic. Don't stop giving us money.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is a thing of just like how does that work where things are more efficient when you have less people to do the task. But
Mm.
yeah, I guess we'll see come what 2026 when that game is quote unquote supposed to come out. Yeah, we'll see. Number 11. Days Gone dev community manager apologizes, says fans continuously getting fed false hopes of sequel. This comes to us from Eurogamer by way of Victoria Kennedy. So, the community manager of Days Gone developer Ben Studio has apologized to fans. The reason for this apology because they're getting fed false hopes and poor information by people looking for likes. In a post on social media platform X, Twitter, Kevin McAllister said this kind of behavior is not fair to the fans of Days Gone who are eager to hear more news about more games in the series. This is something that is not on the cards. While McAllister did not name any names in his post, earlier this week, former studio director John Garvin said he had written Days Gone with a cliffhanger, with the full intention of there being a trilogy, not just a sequel. This comment also subsequently picked up by fans and outlets. Yeah, I actually saw uh that comment and I was like, "Oh, that's weird because Days or Ben Studio is definitely not working on another Days Gone game. They're working on like a multiplayer, a live
Know
service
what you're
multiplayer game, I
telling
think."
is there's a chance.
Right? Maybe it's gone days. So yeah, I mean, this is just kind of they're doing their best to confirm the fact
Mhm.
that their next project is not going to be a Days Gone game. When will we see their next project? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe in the rumor showcases will be happening in September.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was a
know.
solid ass game, and I hate that it got did dirty like this. But they
Yeah,
just launched to zombie fatigue, and because when did Days Gone come out? I feel like it came out the same year as
it was 2019. I believe it's 2019.
mm,
I could be wrong. I'm saying that too
yeah,
strongly.
2019.
Oh, okay, I was right. I knew I was right. Right.
And I feel
I
like
didn't
some
doubt
more
myself at
zombie
all.
type games came out around that time. Plus, it was like in the showcase with when that was revealed. That showcase had a bunch of zombie games. I feel like
Yeah,
Dying Light and Last of Us Part Two. Just
yeah. It was Days Gone came out, but I think it was around the promotions for Last of Us 2, which came out in 2020.
hmm
So everyone was just like, we know the zombie game that we want to play, and it's not Days Gone kind
hmm
of thing, even though Days Gone was a solid game. So it just kind of got shafted by the limelight of Last of Us, which sucks. So the next little bit of news is actually our little quick hits. Number 12, Stellar Blade Studio is looking at a PC version but cannot comment due to its construct or contractual relationship. This comes to us from VGC by way of Jordan Miller. Shift Up CEO Kim Hyung Ta said, I think I nailed that. Man, I should just read Korean name. Oh my god, I'm amazing. Oh, jeez. We are considering a PC version of Stellar Blade, but we cannot commit or comment on the exact timing of or whether or not it will be released due to the contractual relationship. Um, so essentially, what they're saying is that the contract that they signed with PlayStation to put this game out probably has some language in there that says that you can't make a PC game probably for a year, I
yeah.
imagine. So they'll probably start working on it next year and have it out next year. I would imagine it would. So in this article, nowhere do they talk about Xbox, which I think is kind of strange. I would think that they would probably just make an Xbox version along with the PC version just to get it out to as many people as possible. But it could be a thing of they just don't see that in their cards. I don't know. It's also noted that Shift Up also claimed that the sales for the game are estimated to have exceeded 1 million units worldwide. So that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Elden Ring DLC numbers, but it's still pretty good. Um, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So that has been it for the gaming news. We have we have this what we've been playing section, and I'm a little dumbfounded because Sean has a interesting game that he's been playing, and I would like to know more about this, Sean. What
Haven't you
have you
been
done
playing
to the
any
black
games,
people?
DJ?
I'm literally in a holding pattern for ZZZ and the First Descendant. So next week it's gonna be heavy with what we've been
We.
playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So Police Simulator hit Police Simulator hit PlayStation Plus. So, I wanted to violate some rights, but I mean, first you gotta wake your way up from ticket duty. So I ain't get to do nobody wrong yet. But you
Mhm.
walk around checking tags and, seeing if meters are expired and seeing if a car is parked on the curb or too far out into the street. You can tow a car or issue a ticket. You'll get an alert that somebody littered and you can chase them down and either give them a ticket or, arrest them right away. I haven't done that yet.
I'm totally looking up for a trailer for this. So you're gonna keep talking. We're gonna play this trailer out because
Well, yeah, you punch in the clock. Once you clock out or once your shift ends, you're supposed to run back to the station because too much overtime is frowned upon. And, um, I haven't played too much. I only played one shift of the game, but you can choose how much of a shift you want to do.
okay.
And You get points for, of course, writing tickets. You got a virtual quota. I haven't gotten past it yet. I've only played it like once or twice so far, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. I think I know you can pull out a flashlight. I believe you can pull out a gun. I don't know if I've been issued one yet because I haven't learned all the controls. But I mean, you just walk around and just focus on things. You can focus on a tag. You can tell if it's expired. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
You should try it.
This I might man, that
It
person
starts
shaped up
out
did not
very
look
boring.
good.
I will say that.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh wow, he threw a flare under the car. Oh, that's a dead body. Oh, it's throwing flares. Wait a minute.
So,
Wait a minute. Okay.
as I used to say, as I've been saying for years, if you have
Arresting
PlayStation
people.
Plus or Game Pass, try out some games that you probably would never spend the money on. You never know when you'll find something that you enjoy very much. I would have never probably bought Binding of Isaac back in the day, but I ended up putting hundreds, almost 1,000 hours into that. So
This this is a game, guys.
let
Like
me see what
I
what does
am
it have on open?
the actual rating.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You
I'm
know that's gonna be
curious.
super contentious. Oh man. This is oh, you running after people too. Oh, you pulled the gun out. Oh, she didn't
Mhm.
shoot though. That's not accurate. That's not accurate at all.
Police simulator, patrol officers. Um,
Crazy.
it has a weak, it has a weak rating, but I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure it
okay,
ain't for
okay,
everybody.
okay.
Some people gave it a 4 out of 10. Some people gave it 8 out of 10.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
like, it's aggressively average, but I mean, there's something to do.
yeah. Okay, that is something else. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
I'm expecting next week you come back on the podcast. You were in like a uniform. Like, talk. Let me tell you guys about Police Simulator.
No, I don't have Kai Cenat's budget.
Right.
If y'all keep on
Uh,
subscribing, maybe we'll get a budget to do silly shit one day. I don't know.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that has been it for the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoy making it. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. And if you're listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on whatever podcast or whatever thing you're listening us to, you know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
think I said the podcast thing twice now. Think about it. Hey, like this video, subscribe to the channel to help me be a better host. Do it. Thank you. Um, yeah, you can join our conversations at press X to start or press X number 2start.com/Discord because there you'll get our conversation. We talk about anime. They constantly trying to get me to watch One Piece, and I'm just like, hey guys, I got Gundam to play. I just gotta play Gundam, It's an everyday thing. One day though, one day I'll start One Piece again for like the third time.
Come on, my guy.
All right. You take care. You be safe. I would say play the police simulator game, but like I don't. Yeah, go ahead play it. It's free. If you got PS Plus, it's free. It's free, right?
It's
Yeah,
included.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
Give it
what
a
tier it's
try.
on, but I mean, if you can, why
Yeah,
not?
give it a try. And then like next week, we're gonna be talking about Zone Zero and First Ascendant, and they're both free games too. So you can definitely play them essentially with us because they both have co-op. So here we go. That's the thing.
Do it.
Maybe we'll see.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Bye.
All right. What episode is this?
26. So yeah, put up your audio recording like normal, and I will just